Welcome to What's Your Story? I'm your host, Sharita Williams, and today my special guest is Pastor Kevin Washington. He's a pastor, he's a CEO, and he's also a founder and also an author. Please help me welcome Kevin Washington. Mr. Washington, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Well, thank you, Ms. Sharita Williams. I'm so pleased to be a part of the WYTV7.org Christian broadcast. This is the first, and I'm hoping it won't be the last. And I'm hoping that this presentation will reach the lives of many that are viewing in on today.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Mr. Washington, we have over 1.5 million viewers, so I'm sure it will. You know, our mission here at WYTV7 is to educate, empower, and encourage. So we're hoping that your story today will encourage others to come on our show and share their story. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I was born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I've lived here literally all my life, and I'm matriculated through the school systems in Harrisburg, the Lincoln Elementary School, the Edison Junior High School, and then ultimately the Harrisburg High School, where I graduated in 1977, and I went on to go to college. I'm a graduate of Cheney University, and since graduated in 1983, and I'm married now for 32 years. My wife and I, we've been married for 32 years, and we have 4 children, Teresa, Kevin, Kaylin, and Carrington. They're all adults now. So if you figure 32 years of marriage, I've been a father for 31, because our daughter's the oldest, and our oldest son, he's 29. Second son is 27. The youngest son is 23. But my wife and I, we are yet in love is from the very first time we met, which was November the 9th, 1987.
Well, I think that is so fantastic. So I know that you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And you have 4 businesses. Tell our viewers about your businesses.
Well, the first one is Washington Associates, which is my grant writing business, and which I've been a professional grant writer for more than 30 years. And then the Unity Fellowship, where I'm the pastor, which we have some businesses within our church, which takes in the other 2. Letting Go LLC, which is our drug and alcohol outpatient services, which we're a part of the National Minority Supplier Development Council. We're in 3 states, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. And then last but not least, LORD, which is our Launching Out, Reaching Deep Community Development Organization, which is our 501c3 nonprofit organization.
So tell us about LORD, the acronym LORD. That was very interesting when I was looking up your bio and I saw LORD and I thought, well, what an interesting concept. So tell us about LORD.
Well, LORD was a upstart. My wife and I, we were in the backyard cleaning. We were just planting things. So she likes to plant like a little garden, and we were just cleaning up the backyard. And so the trash men were coming down the alley, and she said, we need to launch out and reach deep, because we were just getting rid of things that we said some people's, with the trash that we're throwing out, the items that we're getting rid of, it could be someone else's treasure. So I said, that makes sense. So she said, we ought to launch out and try to do this. I said, launch out. Okay. So she came up with the term launching out. I said, okay, it's launching out. And I came up with reaching deep. So launching out, reaching deep is a concept that my wife and I both jointly came up with. And then we filed the necessary paperwork, which we are a 501c3 community development organization, and which takes in education, housing assistance, scholastic scholarship and entrepreneur, youth services, and domestic violence. And we've been doing this for some over 30 years now.
And also, I understand, about your grant writing. So give our audience the website for your grant writing.
Well, Washington Associates, for those that are interested in our grant writing services, it's WashingtonAssociates.services. And again, WashingtonAssociates.services. That's the website.
So how long have you been writing grants?
Oh, I've been writing grants for over 32 years.
Mm.
I started off working with the Urban League, which was here in Harrisburg. And then from working with the Urban League, I started writing through the Greater Harrisburg Foundation. And then I got contracted from some of the mayors, one of the mayor of Chester, Philadelphia. And then I started writing grants for some of the Fortune 500 companies and nonprofit organizations that were urban initiative type of programs. And also I write grants within our own jurisdiction as well, which is the Eastern jurisdiction.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, Mr. Washington, as a Black man, as a pastor, when did you realize that owning your own business was essential?
Well, one of the things that I learned early on in life was that you're going to work for yourself or you're going to work for somebody else. And as I began to enter into the employment field, I would take different tests from the state and from some other entry level positions. You would always have to take a test. So I said to myself, I enjoyed working with companies, and some things I saw companies do, especially the ones that I worked in. I've always worked in the area of community service, whether it was youth, adults, or the justice system. After working for a number of years and realizing that there's something missing, there has to be something a little bit more than just coming to work and providing a service and saying that I'm getting a paycheck. But what happens when they leave? What happens when is there follow-up? Is there aftercare? When they leave your place of rehabilitation, some may reoffend, which is this term recidivism comes in. And there's a recidivism rate that's national of African Americans, and being an African American male, there was an effort of the recidivism rate of African Americans and Latinos in the justice system. So my concern was to not be a part of that dynamic and have people that come out of our system to be a part of that statistic. And I said, what we need to do is we need to have something in motion to help these people let go. And that's how we came up with the name Let Go. And I realized at that point, I need to have my own organization to do what I felt was right for our people.
So do your organization put on workshops?
We do workshops. We do workshops. We do retreats for husbands and wives, for youth, for financial literacy, for educational and economic development, to primarily empower and to train individuals to become self-employed and to become responsible human beings. Period. Law-abiding citizens.
So WYTV7 every year they have an annual literacy program that they put on once a year. So your organization lines up. It's amazing how things can line up. Nobody but God can do that, right?
Yes, amen.
It's
yes,
amazing, because that's the mission of WYTV7 is to educate and empower and encourage. So that's all a part of our mission. So we understand that you're a pastor, you're a CEO, you're an author, you've done it all. I understand you played professional ball or were drafted to play professional ball. Is that correct?
Yes. Back in 1983, actually, I was being scouted. First of all, I'm a graduate of Cheney University, one of the first historic Black colleges in 1837. And there's always been a debate between Cheney and Lincoln and Wilberforce, but Cheney is the oldest Black college in the nation, 1837. If anyone does a history, they'll see that we are the oldest historic Black college. Where I graduated from Cheney. All right, my alma mater. And it was there where I was able to really glean and get a clear understanding of the purpose of moving forward with my life in this area of human service. And it was there where I had the free agent tryout with the Seattle Seahawks. And I'll never forget, the scouts came looking for one person, and they saw me running back punts and kicks. And they said, wait a minute, who's this guy over here? And the coach thought that I was a junior, but I was a senior because I transferred from one college to another. So I went through a series of tests. I had to lift weights, I had to bench press, I had to do some deadlifting, I had to run a couple of 40-yard dashes. And then what was really important, I had to take an educational test to see mentally if I was mentally capable of handling that next level of competition. So I was very fortunate to get a free agent tryout, but unfortunately I went to New Jersey to celebrate and was in a four-car accident, which left me paralyzed from my waist down.
So Mr. Washington, are you still paralyzed now?
No, no, not at all. And to look at me, you would never believe or never even could imagine that I was paralyzed, let alone was in a wheelchair. And my heart goes out to those that are disabled. And I try to give the type of governance with the ADA, which is American Disabilities Association or American Disabilities Act, where I don't discriminate whether you're in a wheelchair or whether you're walking. You still can be a valuable person and you still have viable resources to give and to contribute. But that part of my life, I don't glorify it as much. Most young student athletes, when they get to the height of their career, I'm going to be playing pro football and all this. That was fine. But I really believe God has something else for me other than just playing football on Sunday, spiking the ball and, doing those dances and flips, and being on EC, those little PlayStation things. But
Yes. So Mr. Washington, do you think that you, again, but God, because you say you're up and walking,
yes,
you believe that the accident was the turning point in your life? Here you are, you're a rising NFL star that's about to play for the Seattle Seahawks. You're in a terrible accident. It leaves you paralyzed. They tell you you can't walk, but you do. So in that pivotal change, do you think that's where God came in and started ministering to your heart to have you to be the man you are today?
For me, I believe it took that because you have to keep in mind at 22 years old, I was very confident and just, for a better choice of words, I'm gonna be very, very real, very transparent, very, very, very confident, overconfident, and cocky, if I can use that term, cocky and arrogant, because you have it all. You're looking to you have people calling your name, cheering you on, but that accident put me in a position where I had to sit and really think about my life and the lives of those that I affected, both positive and negative, and reevaluate my position and say to myself, I need a God change in my life.
That's powerful. We're going to take a short commercial break. And if you out there and are enjoying these stories and would like to be a guest on our show, please contact me at SharitaWilliams154@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, WYTV7.org. And please remember to give a donation to WYTV7.org.
Swing Into Their Dreams Foundation presents the Golf Tournament of the Year, raising scholarships for aspiring National Golf Club in Milton, Georgia. The inaugural HBCU Swing Into Their Dreams Charity Golf Tournament. Registration and gourmet continental breakfast begins at 8 a.m. and shotgun at 10 a.m. Award reception follows. Come enjoy a day of jazz, mimosa, cigars, cash bar, silent auction, and more. For more information, contact 770-686-7148. Their dreams. Don't miss it.
We're back. Our guest today is Pastor Kevin Washington. We would like to thank our sponsors, Swing Into the Dream. Kevin, can you continue with your story? We understand that you are an author. So can you tell us the name of your book?
Yes. The name of the book, as you see here, is What is Life? And this was written some 35 years in the making. One of my friends, Tommy Williams, his mother worked in the library and gave me a book and said, record everything that you go through. And at some point in time in your life, you'll be able to write a book. And as a result of that, I recorded and penned everything that I went through from the onset of the accident, March 26, 1983, until the time that I was able to get up and walk. And to this day, I credit Teresa Collins of ATO Publishers for asking me, do you mind if I would change the title of your book to What is Life? Because you have so much detail and so much history of being a former athlete, now a preacher, a business owner, and having walked differently, your whole life has changed. So with that, I'm very grateful that the book is now available and it's on the market and it's selling through Amazon Kindle.
Can you tell us how to purchase your book?
The cost of the book is only $19.99 for the hard copy. The ebooks is $9.99, and it can be purchased on Amazon Kindle. And you click on the format for either ebook or hard copy, and that's Amazon Kindle or Amazon.
So did your inspiration from your book come from your accident? You know, what actually inspired you to write the book?
Well, a number of things. One is my family was there for me. And then early on, I said that my younger son, Carrington, he said to me, he said, Dad, you know, you have a volume of information that you've written down. Why don't you put this in book form? And he is a English major from Messiah College. So he said, Dad, he said, just take some time a day and go through this and format it. So which we did. And eventually, that's when Miss Teresa Collins became involved. She said, hey, listen, let me put your book in a formatted document for people to benefit from. So that's how that came about. But it was my youngest son's inspiration. And then Miss Teresa Collins actually saying, hey, I'd like to help you. And I found out that there's always going to be somebody to help you get from point A to point B. And I've been praying about it. Lord, I really want to have a book, but I just don't want to write any kind of book. I want this book to really influence and to impact persons that are in decision mode, but they're just not sure what decision to make. And your life can change in 10 minutes. My life changed in 10 minutes, leaving the Harris Hotel and Casino, getting on the road, Route 30, within 10 minutes, I was in an accident and my whole life changed within 10 minutes. I went from being a future football player to being paralyzed from my waist down, all because of a decision that was made. And in 10 minutes, my life changed. So yes, my life changed as a result of this accident, but for the better. And being able to pin it, and for those that can read it, and that they follow the journey with me, they'll see that they too can overcome objections. Most of us have a story, but some of us don't have an opportunity to tell it because we don't have the platform to tell it. And I want to say this if I don't say it any other time, the WYTZ or WYTV7 is a platform that I've been praying about to be able to tell the story nationwide. I would take this presentation over Good Morning America any day.
Well, we're honored. We're honored that you feel that way. You know, I have been journaling myself, so I'm very passionate about it. I started journaling this year. I had journaled in the past, but you have really encouraged me to come forward with my book. I've been in contact with several publishers, but nothing has come into ink.
Wow.
So I really need to really journal, more and put my energy, towards that. But I haven't been journaling like you for over 40 something years. So after 40 something years of journaling, writing down notes, during your life, your life journey? Why now? Why bring the book forward now?
Well, what better time than any? Because I know after it was all said and done, I thought about it. I said, people need to really hear this testimony. They need to hear this story of where and how I became the person I'm in today. I wasn't always preaching. I wasn't always a business person. I wasn't always a father. I wasn't always married. So all of this is a first. And so it took every bit of patient continuity and the right person. And I really believe that the right person was ATO Publishers, because they came alongside and they took the time to work with me. And here's the part that's really interesting. ATO Publishers are in a different time zone. They are in Central Standard Time. So the time slots that I would call and speak to Miss Teresa Collins, if it's 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, obviously it's 10 o'clock their time. So there are times we into the in the early morning, like 1 o'clock in the morning, it's 12 o'clock there, or 2 o'clock in the morning, it's 1 o'clock there. And I told her, I said, please, can we do this early? She said, no, you have something that needs to get done. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to tell you like I told my wife. My wife's from Illinois. I said, do you believe in the future and that you can speak to the future? And she said, no, how can you do that? I said, well, what time is it there? And I said the same thing to Miss Teresa Collins of ATO Publishers. And she said, well, it's 11 o'clock here. I said, well, it's 12 o'clock our time. I said, this is a Saturday morning, but it's still Friday. I said, so now, not only are we writing for the future, this book is going to be futuristic when it's all said and done. And I said the same thing to my wife. I said, not only are you talking into the future, but you are talking to your future. And I highlight some of this in the book because what is life kind of stems from decisions that I made that I had to come away from. I didn't have any habits of drinking and smoking and dope and all that. My problem that I had was I wasn't satisfied with one girlfriend. I had to have more than one girlfriend. And as a result, what will be shared in this book is, and I talk about it, the gloves come off. Not only do the gloves come off, but it talks about the lifestyle that I had. And again, it wasn't the drinking, it wasn't the smoking, it was just lying to young, beautiful women that I just had. I couldn't control it. But I ran into one young lady on the college campus, and she invited me to her room and said to me, I want to get to know you. I said, okay. So I go over to the room, and lo and behold, there's a Bible on the bed. And if you know anything about college campuses, those little college campuses are small with those little small rooms. And there was a Bible on the bed. And she said to me, someone wants to get to know you. I said, I thought you said you want to get to know me. But she said, no, someone wants to get to know you. And lo and behold, she said to me, she started playing the Clarkson's music in the background. And I said, what did I get myself into? She said, Jesus wants to get to know you. And from that point on, I said, wait a minute, something is going on here. And all of it began to just settle in. And it kind of prompted me to want to give my life to the Lord. So it all happened that week. It all happened in 1 week. On a Sunday, I was in church. The pastor asked me if I want to give my life to the Lord. I said, no, just pray that the Lord will give me a mind to be saved. My former pastor was Pastor Scriven. He's a bishop now. And he said to me, just pray. Let me pray for you. I said, no, just pray that the Lord will give me a mind to be saved. That's it. So they prayed for me. I went back to school. That week, that Saturday, I was on an accident. And something, to my surprise, I didn't understand. So I started reading the medical documents. I love reading material. And it said on here, African-American male lost consciousness. So I asked the doctors, what did that mean? They said, you died. I said, I died. They said, you died on the table and we revived you back. To my surprise, and do you not know, I said these words. I said, Lord, if you raise me up from this bed, I'll make known your deeds among the people. And I had no idea that was scripture. Had no idea it was in the Bible. and had no idea what I was saying. But that's what I said. If you raise me up from this bed, I'll make known your deeds among the people. So some 30 some odd years, 40 years is a long time. But I'll say this in another language. Más vale tarde que nunca. That's Spanish for better late than never.
You know, and you know what? That's not your will, but his will be done.
Amen.
You know, and he had plans for your future.
Oh, yes.
You know, Jeremiah 29:11, you know, he
thoughts that I have for you are thoughts. Yeah. Oh, come on with it.
So that's one of my scriptures that I love.
Thoughts of peace and not of evil to give you an expected end. All right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yes. So, Mr. Washington.
Yes.
Please, after all these years, so you've had this journal. You know, I want to just keep talking about your book. You know, you've had this journal sitting on a desk for 40 years.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so it took your son, who was your future, was,
yes.
You know, you're talking about bringing things into your future. It took your son, your future, to bring this book into existence. How does that affect your family, or how does that affect your faith?
It is a encouragement because our youngest son is a miracle child. All of our 4 siblings are all miracles, because the doctor said that I would never be able to have children. I would never walk again, and I would be confined to a wheelchair for the rest of my life. But my youngest son, he came through what is called ulcerative colitis. He wrestled for Messiah College. He was he wrestled 197, and he went from 197 pounds to about 135 pounds, 140 pounds. And the same thing that happened in my life at a young age. He was 22 when this happened to him. It just knocked him out, but he was still able to graduate. He still wrestled 4 more times for his graduation, and no one would have ever thought or suspected for him to recover from ulcerative colitis. He's traveled Africa, Seoul, South Korea, Nairobi, Kenya. And because of the healing that God presented in front of our eyes for him, he did the same for me. And my son said,
and that's beautiful. You know,
yes.
that is a beautiful story.
Yes.
So a lot of times we look at life through our eyes, and God has it where somebody else is seeing your story.
Yes.
So we're gonna thank you for being a part of our show.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate being a guest.
Has greatly encouraged me, you know, and I hope it hasn't encouraged our audience as well. But I hear you have another talent. I hear you can sing. You have the gift of song.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get you to close out with the song.
Okay. This is We Are One. Though we speak in different tongues, and we live in different places of the world, and though we have different styles, each one to his own, we are one, created in his image, formed in his own likeness, for we are one.
Mr. Washington, how can our viewers contact you?
I can be reached by mail or correspondence at 900 South Arlington Avenue, Suite 216A, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 17109. By email, they can reach me at lordcdo@gmail.com. And my phone number is 717-307-9403.
Your song, Yes, We Are One, is beautiful. We would like to thank our sponsors, Swing Into the Dream. And if you would like to share your story can become our story so that we can become as one. Please contact me at Sharita Williams 154@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, WYTV7.org. And please remember, we accept donations. So please donate to WYTV7.org. And again, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Swing Into the Dream. Until we meet again, I'm Sharita Williams. I'm out.